Hello, everybody. It's Lauren Kling, and welcome to another Film Threat Watch Party. Welcome, welcome. This week, I am so excited because we are going to be doing what I call a live DVD commentary for the film Donny's Bar Mitzvah. And having bar mitzvahed myself, well, no, that's weird. Let me reword that. Having had a bar mitzvah myself, this film really spoke to me, and also as an adult, it really spoke to the things that were probably going on at my bar mitzvah that my parents will never tell me about, even as an adult. So I want you to grab a drink, grab a cocktail, or whatever you're drinking. Settle in. We're going to start the movie at about quarter after. If you've got a phone, if you've got a laptop, we'll play the movie at the same time. I've got Jonathan. I've got Jonathan, I know his last name, Jonathan Kaufman, the director and the writer. We've got some special guests, some actors from the movie who will be on. We'll watch the movie and it'll be so much fun. If you haven't seen the movie, you can rent it right now on Amazon Prime and Apple TV. And that is what's going to happen. Now this movie, our very own Alan Ng, he calls it, hey, there I am. Sure, why not? Rather than just hear me, why don't you see me? Our very own Alan Ng said this movie was shot to look like a 1998 VHS tape. We get to peek inside the dysfunctional minds and antics of the family and friends that surround Donny Drucker. Alan called it offensive, childish, incredibly lowbrow, and I loved it more than you could ever imagine. And we will get into that in just a moment, about quarter after. In the meantime, I want to make sure you guys know about everything going on with Film Threat. We just had our award show happen last Sunday. Did you guys check it out? Did you watch the live stream? Did you watch the live stream from the bar? Even just to be able to sit and watch Twitch style people ordering from a bar is kind of cool. But if you want more info and see video, see pictures, see the red carpet, you can go to filmthreat.com. The best in independent movie making. All right, how much more can I talk? Let's bring on our first guest. Let's bring on the writer and the director, Jonathan Kaufman, a.k.a. Johnny Comebacks. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Lauren. Doing good.
Nice. Welcome. You are dialing in from New York?
Mm-hmm.
And if we're lucky, we might hear the sounds of the New York streets. So swearing.
Oh, you won't have to be lucky for that. We'll get some sirens. We'll get some trains passing by. You know, maybe a homeless man screaming or two.
I was going to say neighbors, random neighbors screaming.
Mm. It's all part of the ambiance.
Very cool. So I'm excited because, as I mentioned, I had a bar mitzvah. And, you know, your film really kind of was encapsulated in a line later on in the movie where Valet Mike was saying a bar mitzvah is not for the kid, it's for the parents. Is that true?
I would say definitely partly. You know, there's like the line that I always say is these bar mitzvahs are so over the top, so grandiose, and a lot of the money put into these bar mitzvahs are towards the high-end food and the top shelf alcohol. Like, that's not for the 12 and 13-year-olds, you know? And at least in my experience from all the bar mitzvahs I've gone to, like, majority of the guests are adults. So, you know, if you put the pieces together, is it really a party for the kids? Not so much, you know? Is it more so an excuse for the parents to spend more money than they ever would normally and it not look so bad because it's a party for the kid? Yeah.
Right. You know, we hear about bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, quinceañeras. There's all kinds of parties that you just, I mean, there's been shows on MTV about Sweet 16s where you're like, that is insane. But even bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs of today are so much more than they were for me back in the 80s. So have you noticed, not like I'm expecting you to know everything about the history of bar mitzvahs through the
Oh, no, I actually am. I don't know if you know this, but I actually am a bar mitzvah historian. It's one of the many titles that I have. So you've come to the right source. To me, my experience with bar mitzvahs is it's changed dramatically since, call it, the 80s, the 90s. The 80s and 90s bar mitzvahs, to me at least, had somewhat of the same vibe, where it was like kids party, parents party, and lack of cell phones, which is very important because the parents would get obliterated and the kids would do ridiculous stuff. And things have changed now dramatically because now that there's cell phones, it's like I feel like the worry of things being captured on tape, it's like there was a lot more freedom. People were just doing whatever. And also, just to be totally frank, I feel like just the idea of like dances, I can't even imagine what school dances are like right now, because when we were 12 and 13, we were dancing with each other. We were like grinding on each other and slow dancing and doing provocative things in front of parents. Like I was being weird on the dance floor, and like that doesn't happen at current day bar mitzvahs. It's just jumping. It's just kids jumping now to like Avicii.
Right. So with that being said, explain what we're looking at right here.
So there's many phases in bar mitzvahs. So this right here is a picture from my younger sister's bat mitzvah that I was 18 years old at, and I was absolutely obliterated at. So, throughout the film, I try to show the many various ages that you could be at a bat mitzvah. And yeah, here's me hitting on the dancers. Once again, just completely obliterated, making a fool of myself. There's me once again trying to kiss one of the dancers. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for that pic. But here's me just being a complete degenerate. And that's what bar and bat mitzvahs are about. It's complete degeneracy. So like you have your kids, then you have like kind of like the young adult scene of like 18 to like young 20s, let's call it, that have a completely different experience at the bar mitzvahs. And then you have your adults. So like I tried to like shed light on a little bit of each of those groups, your kids, young adults, adults. That's kind of how I segment the parties, where it's like the kids aren't like downing alcohol yet. They're like the 17, 18-year-olds. Oh, trust me. They are. Well, that I say l'chaim.
L'chaim. L'chaim.
There's going to be many l'chaims throughout this. I have many to go. So we'll be doing a couple of l'chaims.
As the sun sets here on the West Coast, and some of the practicing Jews celebrate the Sabbath by turning off their technology, we are going against the salt grain by embracing technology. Listen,
the real Jews are utilizing the technology for that's the real Jews, all right? The real Jews are utilizing the technologies right now.
All right, enough about us. Let's bring on our guests. First, let's bring up who are we going to start with? Let's bring on Donnie himself, Steele Stebbins. How are you? Go ahead and there we go. Let's bring on Radek Lord, who played David, and let's bring on Sam, Adrian Ciscato. How are you guys?
We are awesome. I am here in sunny LA, enjoying the beautiful day inside.
Nice. Adrian, Steele, what part of the world are you guys in? Oh, we're not hearing Steele. We'll come back to
you guys are muted. You guys are muted.
There we go.
I got back in LA about a week and a half ago. So yeah, I'm joining you guys from Los Angeles as well.
Nice. And it looks like, Adrian, you've got your drink all set up over your left shoulder.
Yeah, it should be. It should get me through the movie. I mean, it's an hour and a half. Yeah, we expect it to be at least a quarter gone.
Nice. And Steele, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I live kind of in the middle of nowhere. I live in the middle of a canyon, so
you look like you live in the middle of in front of a sheet right now.
Right.
Yeah, because I, for some reason, didn't think about how messy my room was, and it was the fastest solution to fix it. So I just threw that guy up there.
Yeah, nice. But you win with the gaming chair, Steele.
Yeah, this thing's pretty awesome. It's been through a lot with me.
Nice. So for all of you viewing out there, if you want to go ahead and ask comments, you can, and you're watching us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live, ask the questions. Our very own Chris Gore is saying this is one of the best comedies of the year, and it definitely has that old school kind of feel. So thank you, Chris. He's a big fan of Film Threat. So thank you for joining us. So yeah, and also if anybody has questions they want to post, we will post them to the filmmakers and the cast so they can answer the questions. I did want to share, because I told Jonathan it wouldn't be fair if I didn't get to share my memories. So I bar mitzvahed back in the 80s. So this was back when matchbooks were a thing. So I've got a collection of matchbooks, which are old school. And also, let me bring up this picture right here. So that's
that old school bar mitzvah memorabilia. That's high in demand right now. You could fork over a pretty penny for that. Right?
And you know what?
That is top tier. That's like hype beast right there.
Look at the colors and the outfits and the styles of the 80s.
I love it.
Yeah, we might have to do Gary's bar mitzvah next. I mean, that would be a hoot, right?
And then compare that to these kind of styles.
So this picture is very special. I want to hold on this picture just for a second
because
this picture is the bar mitzvah of a very, very close family friend of mine. And this basically party and theme was the foundation of Donny's bar mitzvah, the Donny's. His bar mitzvah was very much themed around the Oscars, the Academy Awards, and the whole concept of walking into the bar mitzvah with having a bunch of photographers all around actually happened at this person's bar mitzvah. So this is a lot of this stuff is based in, reality, satire of reality, but, ideas taken from, my amazing, crazy bar mitzvah filled life.
It's always awesome to be able to chat with the filmmakers to see things that you don't normally find out about unless it's like, oh, hey, this was an inspiration for the making of this film. So wonderful. So we've got just a couple minutes before we're all going to sync the beginning of the film. Steele, Adrian, Radek, go ahead if you want to keep your microphones on. I know it's different than what we're used to when we're in class. So keep it on.
Keep it on.
Keep your drinking going. Maybe Radek will pull out the drums.
Maybe that's at the end. That's at the finale. I was just actually, Jonathan, I wanna ask you a question. I need help planning my late bar mitzvah because I found out I was Jewish recently. So I want to throw all right, I want to throw an adult bar mitzvah to celebrate my Judaism. I don't know.
It wouldn't be a bar mitzvah without kids, so we'll make sure to invite Steele and Adrian.
All right, Steele and Adrian. No drinking.
The real party now.
Well, my wife never had a quinceañera. She's half Mexican, so I threw her a treintañera. So imagine a bunch of adults hitting a piñata and what kind of adult kind of items you might find in a piñata. So that's nothing wrong with an adult bar mitzvah, Radek.
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh, it's even better.
So 08 Braddock says this picture smells like Tamarack summer camp.
Oh yeah. That's a big Jew summer camp from my area, Tamarack. Yeah, big time. Big Michigan Jewish summer camp.
Nice.
That's a film too. A Jewish summer camp.
I got to ask.
Well, American summer.
Steele, Adrian, Radek, are either you Jewish and had a bar mitzvah, or have you attended actual bar mitzvahs?
I have actually, I am not Jewish and I have never attended one. So this was my first bar mitzvah. And honestly, it was pretty incredible. So
we actually had to circumcise Steele for the role.
Yeah.
That was a big part in the audition process. Was last audition, they were like, hey, look, we're gonna have to circumcise you, and I was like, just a sacrifice I'm be willing to make, and
it's your method, man. Your method.
He was a trooper.
Nice. All right, it's 5:15, so it's time to pull out our phones, our second screens, get the movie ready. I've got mine set up on the opening. If you've got Amazon Prime, sometimes they want to throw a commercial in the beginning, so just hit skip. But Steel, Radic, Adrian, you guys ready to hit play?
And you guys know you're supposed to do it on mute.
And you'll do it on mute because, again, the writer-director Jonathan will sue anybody who plays the audio, right? I think he owns the rights.
I mean, I'm just trying to fork in as much cash as I can, right?
Perfect. All right. Countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and play. And if anyone joins us late or a little bit later, or you're not sure if we'll
I have an
figure it
initial
out.
story. Right now, I've got a story about this Side of Ranch logo.
Okay.
So if you listen to it, it's my friend being like, "Hey, excuse me, can I get a side of ranch?" I called him. He was a counselor at camp at like 3 a.m. I need you to record something for me. And he recorded that for me at literally 3 a.m., sent it, and then I sent it, and that's that.
I love the name. I love the name, Side of Ranch Productions. We also commented on that. As my roommates, we all sat down and watched the film for the first time. We're like, that's a great production company name. Donnie's Abortion is the funniest.
Yeah, Donnie's Abortion was a really, really hard watch. Yeah, it was a hard one to get through. Barney Porn's great if you ever want to go through that. Also, I own Ranch Fest 91 all the way to 98 if anybody's looking for the collection.
You have the whole series? Wow.
Yeah. Also, right now, that voice, that old grandpa voice, whoever wants to know, that was me, right? Just pitch down. I've got a great Jewish grandpa voice, you know?
Wow.
Wait, so it's fakakta dig sauce. What is fakakta?
Fakakta's like, I think, an old like Yiddish word, right? It's just means like, it means exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, okay, okay.
It's fakakta.
Yeah, that whole thing is a fakakta mess.
It's a fucking fakakta dick sauce.
Right. Or what's up with that fakakta drum set in the background, Radic, that your grandparents bought you that you haven't played in 20 years?
Fun fact, these are real photos of Steel Stebbins. My favorite one is this one with the pickle.
Also, looking at these, what was I doing as a child? The last one was in a bucket. This one got a whole ass pickle in my mouth. I'm just...
Don't question it, man. You were vibing.
I want to get back to that time. Yeah.
Sheesh.
So that pickle picture is my favorite, yeah.
Where was this filmed?
This was filmed in Burbank. We were looking for a location for a long time. It was taking it was one of the harder things to do because every venue that we're looking at was like wedding venues, bar mitzvah venues, whatever you want to call it, event venues, and they were asking gratuitous prices because they're like, oh, we get this every weekend, you know? But it was ultimately cheaper to rent a studio and build up a bar mitzvah room. And I'm sure, you know, the cast remembers how small the room actually was. We filmed it out in sections to make it feel bigger than it was, but it was a small room that we utilized that space very well.
Dude, honestly,
it also looked very much real though. I have to give you guys that. They did a really good job of making it look really good. It was really nice.
Great set designers. Great Carly for the win and Keen.
I love the photographer.
I love him too.
Yeah, everybody's like, where did you find this photographer? And the truth is, during casting, I had like a weird way of casting everybody. I kind of like had everybody go through different ropes, but I literally said to the photographers that were trying out, I said, okay, I want to see how red your face can get. And they were just screaming cheese and seeing how red. And this guy was clearly the best. He was unbelievable. I mean, he blew everybody else out. Like he was, as you can see, he's a professional at making his face red.
Did you not color correct his face? Was that a practical effect?
There was a bit of color correction there, you know, of course. You know, if that was practical, we would have had to call a doctor on set. But you know, everybody drink for the tits. We forgot that.
Can I ask a question about her? She was only in the film for the boob, right? For boobs.
Of course.
I love it because I remember her being on set, and I'm like, oh, so what are you doing today? And she goes, I'm flashing my tits, and I'm like, oh, and then what? She goes, that's it. That's all.
Okay, so I have a story if anybody wants to hear. All right,
Yes.
about that. So that whole scene is very much an homage to Airplane. You know, like the whole like quick, like there's a bunch of chaos going on, and like, I mean, you'll see later, but basically, real quick pause. This is Radek's favorite part.
This is my favorite joke. Is the insert? And it stays after the graphic leaves too. It's so good. Anyway,
so I wanted to get this like hot young girl, right? Because that's kind of what they had in Airplane, and the background casting, whatever it is, brought this woman, and I saw who she was. I'm like, this is even better. Like, this is perfect. All right, this is exactly what a bar mitzvah party needs.
that's hilarious. Oh,
I was feeling some real chemistry between Steele and Isabel on set. All right, a little bit more from Steele. Steele was really, oh boy, we had to take him away with a forklift sometimes.
There was a joke you would always say to me, and I don't remember what it is at the moment, but it was something along those lines of like, whoa, okay, like back up. And we would literally just be like talking or something. It was funny.
Man.
Did you know that the picture that everyone signed, like the picture of me smiling really uncomfortably? I still have that.
You have that picture?
Yeah, it's out in these like containers by my house. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
I'll have to send you a picture.
It's funny because there's a lot of things that like every person that's been to a bar mitzvah or Jew would just like naturally know. That's at every bar mitzvah. Like a big like signing board that you sign your name, or a big book that you sign. That's like a bar mitzvah standard. All right. Let's just say if you didn't have one of those, then you didn't actually have a bar mitzvah.
I had one of those, and I nicely framed, and I decided to give it away to Goodwill. And I always wondered who was going to get the picture at a Goodwill.
If I was at a Goodwill and I stumbled on like a retro 80s bar mitzvah like photo, I would get that shit framed on my wall. That is worth some serious cash. That's Dooku dollars we're talking about.
Well, how about this? Next time you're in LA, I'll give you one of these matchbooks.
That's like worth like 1 Bitcoin.
I want to get a I Heart DP shirt so badly.
I think I need to make some like DP merch.
Yes,
in very exclusive amounts, because you're not the first person to say that they want an I Heart DP shirt. All right, Steele's been hitting me up for one.
No way.
I'm down to get one too. I'm gonna flex that hard.
Yeah, and it is a flex. It's like if you have seen the movie, you go, that's hilarious, and if they don't, then they just think you're very open about your sex life. It's a win-win.
I have the I Heart DP posters hung in my bedroom. So like when I bring people to my room and they see I Heart DP and they don't really know what's going on, they're like, I'm like,
don't worry about it.
I don't need to explain.
Yeah.
I Heart DP. All right.
It's another good joke.
It's gonna be like that future. It's gonna be a future hype brand. Is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this scene, hands down, was the hardest scene for me to film because I kept ruining takes because I kept laughing. Like legitimately, because Adam was going off. Just like he's nonstop, just spit firing, just like ridiculous nonsense. Like there's so much stuff in the dailies that like we wanted to use, but like, we wanted the film to move very quickly. But oh my God, there's like literally 3 takes. Like you just hear me laughing in the background. It's like, who's the idiot that laughed? It was the director. Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
Valet Mike was another one where when the scene that's coming up where we're all in like the closet and he comes in, you know what I'm talking about? And he does like that was Adrian knows as well. That was so hard to film because he was just saying stuff that would literally like either if it didn't make me laugh, my face would turn like almost.
we have our man of the hour right here.
Oh, Man, I remember filming this at 2 a.m. and I was like, I had 7 coffees probably that day. Oh, but this location was so cool. This is the hotel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I will tell you this. Couple things about casting. One, I mean, well, casting John was a whole fucking thing, which was unbelievable. But casting Radic, you know, we'll see later, but we actually made Radic eat a butthole. And it was amazing. He did a great job. Unbelievable. And you'll see later why that comes into play. But
yeah,
it was really, he did a great job. He was a trooper.
I had to practice too. It was really awkward for me and my brother for a while.
What did your families think of the film? That's a good idea. All right. Well, I'll start. My parents were at the premiere, and my mom literally loves everything I can do, anything I could do. I could literally like throw up on a piece of paper and like give it to her and say it's art, and she'll hang it on the fridge. My dad, he was so nervous. And he was like, he told me he spent the entire film kind of looking around, watching other people's reactions, that he wasn't able to actually enjoy the film himself. So he had to then watch the film again later. My younger brother very much loved it. My older brother, my family loved it for the most part. But I want to hear from you guys. Yeah, what did your families think of the film?
My brother who I live with has seen it with me all 7 times because he loves it. And then my other brother he's like a finance guy in Miami. He came over and he doesn't smoke or anything, but I'm like, bro, I have a whole night planned for you. You're gonna relax, you're gonna forget about work, and you're gonna watch this film. And he loved it. He could not stop laughing. My mom does not know the film exists. I have not told my mom that the film is out.
Really? Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I can't. There's no way. My mom she would not. This is not her movie.
My family, this is by far like their favorite project that I've been in, like by a long shot. Like it doesn't even compare to anything. Like they still talk about it. And like at first they were talking about it a lot, like the first time we saw it, and I was like, oh, they're probably just saying that to be nice, you know, like I'm like the younger brother who's like for them, like their younger brother who they're trying to be nice to, but literally, like, we'll be like, oh, you guys want to watch a movie tonight? They're like, let's just watch Donny's Party. Like, let's all just, like, smoke some weed or drink or something and just watch Donny's Party, and we'll have a better time than watching anything else. And I'm like, all right.
Hold on. There's a massive update. Steel Stebbins smokes weed because he didn't when we smoked. We didn't when we filmed Donny's Party.
He doesn't smoke weed.
I don't smoke weed. What is weed?
What are you talking about?
I said they smoke
I meant
right. So we're gonna rescind that film threat watch party exclusive about who smokes weed. So no worries.
I do not smoke weed.
No worries. This is my first on-screen kiss,
and I don't drink beer.
Nice. Now, Radic, why does this outfit look similar to? There's a scene in Resident where it looks like you're kind of dressed in the same way, like suit and tie with the bow tie.
With the bow, I swear to God, this is like probably the 7th project I've booked where they put me in a bow tie. I don't know. I have a bow tie face, I think. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I
actually asked, when I was talking to Doro, I said, only bring in the bow tie faces.
My headshot is me in a bow tie. I think my headshot back then was a bow tie picture.
Wow.
Yeah. So. Wow. Oh, that was my gym moment.
I love this scene. This is a great one. Everybody's like, what does Moja kochana szefla mean? It's Polish. It's Polish. I don't really know what it means, but I've heard my grandma say it 1,000 times. All right.
I love the bubbies. I love how wonderful and old and raunchy they can get.
I just saw Mr. Ranch Hands. I didn't notice him the first time.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Ranch Hands. It's so funny. There was like, as one thing that I like loved, and what Radic and I were talking about the screener is everybody. First of all, I love the question that my pal Al asked about what did your families think of the film, because that's the number one question that I get asked is, hey, what did the parents of these kids think? Like, how did they allow them to do that? I'm like, they read the script. They knew it was up. I didn't invent any. They didn't invent scenes, you know. But the only scene that was actually invented was by Raddick and John. They added like a whole huge button to the end of the scene with that tall guy. It's a whole different thing.
Man, that guy was he was really tall. I thought he was a friend or something. I was like, that's why he's here. He's a friend of John's or something. I don't know.
Dude, I was so upset with background. I'm like, dude, like, how can you have a 7'5" guy at a Jewish bar mitzvah? I'm like, there's no 7'5" Jew in the world. All right. We are like 5'7", 5'8". Like that is our comfort zone. All right.
When he speaks, when the tall guy speaks in the low voice, oh, it was like a Deuce Bigelow moment for me. I laughed my ass off and played it back like 3-4 times.
Yeah, it's funny. Me and the editor Nick had a lot of fun in the editing room of just like messing around with stuff, and like we knew when we screened this movie, nobody knew what was gonna be like coming at them. Like we knew like nobody, and we knew that even on set. Nobody knew because there were so many takes and we did things 1,000 different ways every scene. And also a lot of times not everybody was on set every single day. We filmed things, you know, strategically because it's an indie film. So not everybody got to see every single scene play out. So I was really excited to just like have everybody come back and be in the same room and watch the film that they shot a year and a half prior, you know? And I knew that they had no idea what they were in for, you know?
Dude, we all looked at each other. We were shocked. We were like, that's what we did? That was the film we were shooting? Everyone couldn't believe it. It was, man, that was hilarious. How much of Johnny's dialogue is like improv? How much was it scripted?
Donnie's?
Johnny DeLuca's.
I would say overall, most of the dialogue was like, it's tough to say because like there was a lot of scripted moments, but like it would like weave in and out through the script like a lot of people would. Even Steele and Adrian and the rest of the kids, Zamai, like they all did a great job. And just like everybody, the main thing I tried to do was not like cast somebody that like read my lines that I wrote epically and like, oh my God, they crushed the lines I wrote. I try to like cast people that I knew could embody the character because I knew that I wanted to have fun on set. And I knew that I was going to ask people to just like be weird, like what Adrian's doing right now. By the way, frosted tips. All right. Frosted tips is key. All right. We needed a kid with frosted tips. Everybody knows.
And Adrian pulled it off very well.
Yeah. That's a good look, man.
Got rid of it.
What?
It's a good look. I like the frosted tips.
And you know, this isn't the first time, Adrian, you.
I think I'm not even gonna lie. When I went back to school, I was like, "Yo, it's Guy Fieri, guys." and then no. But the thing is, my school counselor, he's like, "Yeah, no, you're not gonna have a really good first semester back."
Oh no!
Oh my God! Nah, dude, frosted tips were in.
Dude, did you plan this out? The not Jewish thing.
So many things were just like we had ideas in editing. We're just
that's another shirt, man. Not Jewish.
Not Jewish. That's great. Like yeah. Also, this was like post. I decided like having like an announcer, and you know, there's something about it being like a super long synagogue because like a lot of synagogues are like Abraham, Moshe, synagogue, something. So I had to like have 12 names and I had to throw the word hummus in there.
Hey, Jonathan, who's Sarah Rivka?
Sarah Rivka?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Sarah.
Part of the synagogue name.
Sarah is just a name that I love using. I throw the name Sarah into everything I do because I've got like an inside joke about the name Sarah. But like Sarah Rivka is just like a super like Jewy name. He feels. So here's another thing that happens at every single bar mitzvah is the candle lighting ceremony. Maybe not as much anymore. I haven't been to like a bar mitzvah in probably 5 years or something like that. But it's like this candle lighting ceremony where like you'd award candles to certain people, and like you'd award a best friend candle. And I had one at my bar mitzvah, and I remember like I awarded my best friend candle, and like it was a kid that thought he was one of my best friends, and he wasn't up for the candle, and it caused some major drama. Yeah, it's kind of messed up. It's kind of messed up.
Yeah,
So,
that's
like, that's kind of like, so like, the bubbies kind of clashing with the best bubby.
So Hortic Films wants to know what kind of future projects you guys are. If this is the pinnacle of your career, what else is left to work on?
Oh boy, I have a lot of future projects in the in the horizon. My main thing is, like, as anybody that knows me or just have seen this film, like, I am very much a comedy guy, and my whole like philosophy is like comedy has been kind of gone from the industry. There's not those fun, hard-hitting comedies. So my goal is to make as many crazy, hard-hitting comedies as possible. This one was obviously completely off the rails and amazing in so many different ways. I have other comedies that I'm planning that are low budget, a little bit higher budget, a lot of different projects that I'm going to be 100% doing next year, and other ones that are just kind of being packaged together that are just as crazy in terms of just hard hitting, really funny and fun, but maybe might speak to a bit of a larger audience and won't be as jarring in terms of, call it, the absurdism, So it might not have that diehard Radic watching it 7 times with his brother.
I love this movie.
But it will still have that Johnny Comebacks flair that we all know and love. All right. So a lot of fun projects planned.
I can't wait, dude. I can't wait.
High school. I like dealing with kids, and just like high school, elementary school, because like I don't know. I just like I feel like I've never really grown up from being in that era. And that's just kind of like so much. When you're 12 and 13, you say and do so many things that are so ridiculous that so many people don't actually show authentically. Nobody's not saying every swear word and talking about girls super provocatively, and girls talking about guys in every way, like you're going through puberty. Things are happening when you're 12 and 13. Like you're chatting, and I just like bringing that to life. There's something fun about that.
Now, Steele was in what I thought was a great comedy, the 2015 Vacation reboot. That's one of those movies, just like this one, where it's got such crazy ideas. The key fob that's got all the weird buttons in it. To me, that's the film right there.
Yeah,
Steele, I could have been your older brother.
I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, Radic auditioned to be my older brother. Could you imagine? That would have been a blast.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. But no, yeah, that film was also incredible to work on. That was really fun. We filmed that in Georgia, in North Carolina. So got to go out a little bit, and
I had to explain whippets to someone while watching this. And it was the most awkward explanation ever. I'm like, how do you not know what whippets are? Yeah, man, whippets at a bar mitzvah. Did you see that?
There's a lot that I've had to explain to people after showing this film. There's a lot that I've had to explain to my parents. Oh man, I loved this. This was a fun scene to film. Just everybody getting down. It's funny because like we had Josh. Oh, here's me.
Yo.
The best cameo of the entire film. Let's be real. But no, filming this was like so much fun. Like that dancing scene, like everybody was going crazy. But like we filmed it like a bunch of times, and it's like in a hot little room, so everybody's sweating by the end. Just schwitzing.
Now, you cast a lot of great comedic talent. Did you do this alone, Jonathan, or did you have a casting director who helped you find?
I worked with a casting director, Doro and Sherwood, and they were absolutely amazing. And a lot of casting directors turned us down after the script. Like they read the script, they're like, "No, I'm not into this." And then Doro and Sherwood have worked with Nickelodeon a lot, and like we wanted somebody the new kids. Pause. This was very important. Me teaching Steele and Isabel how to freak dance. All right, freak dancing was key. Freak dancing and bar mitzvahs are synonymous. Okay, you are grinding up against girls are grinding up against guys, and you're 12 and 13 and all the parents are watching, and it's so awkward, and it was so important that it is awkward and weird. The first day of filming, I don't know why this was like scheduled like this, looking back, first day of filming was the freak dance scene with Isabel and Steele. And I remember I had to like push them together and be like, okay, here's how you do it, like, you know, go side to side. And they were like not yet comfortable with each other, which maybe like worked in the favor. But I remember the set teacher was like, too close. Listen, lady, it's in the script. Right?
Yeah. And I never went to any middle school dance. I think I went to like maybe 1 or 2 high school dances, and the only reason I even went was because it was at Knott's Berry Farm. So like I never even had the freak dancing kind of like grinding experience.
Yeah, no,
So that was
what I was
missed
saying
out,
to
man.
Lauren before we got into it is like when you guys go to like parties now, there's no grinding or slow dancing or freak dancing. You just guys like jump, right?
yeah.
Well, it
honestly,
depends.
that's
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it depends. I mean, parties in Europe get lit. I could tell you that. I'll tell you.
Tell us about it. Let's
Those
hear
go
it.
hard. I mean, clubs in Europe, just the music, the EDM. Yeah, it's jumping, but you go like after 5 hours, your legs are completely done. Like you go absolutely insane.
There's just a lot of jumping. You're just jumping.
But there's it seems like it's jumping, but when you actually go to a club, like go to places where there's EDM, it's different. You think it's jumping, but it's different. You see it different. You'd be surprised.
Well, you'll have to take us on a tour one day.
I'll go.
yes,
Yeah, I want to
sir.
go on.
Oh yeah, you're definitely coming.
Hundo P.
Not all of you will be coming
And
back.
everyone has to wear an I Heart DP shirt, or we're not gonna go.
Yes, yes.
Or the trips off. Yeah, we're not doing it.
Grandma Stein needs to be there too. I love this little edit that you guys put in there after the. Who did the
Here's
voice?
the big reveal. It's so. I mean, one day I'm gonna just like release like all the extra scenes. I had a bunch of different ways to reveal the Danny Trejo. I didn't know how to do it, and originally Danny Trejo was named Frank Rodriguez because I didn't know who was gonna play Danny, you know, that character. And then once we onboarded Danny Trejo in post, I was like, yo, it's so much funnier if it's just Danny Trejo playing Danny Trejo. So then we basically did a lot of re-editing and got, you know, ADR to piece together what needed to happen. But Danny Trejo was amazing to work with. He's one of the nicest guys, super, super humble. And yeah, Danny Trejo, that was amazing.
Remember my picture with an I Heart DP shirt? Gotta represent.
Hundo
Oh
P.
no way!
I loved filming this scene. This was great. Yo, she was unbelievable. She was such. Yeah, when we were doing casting, Jessica came in and she came in like in character, and she just came in like full bitch, just full bitch. And I was like, oh my god, this girl is it. And then after the audition, she's like the nicest girl. I'm like, oh my god, she just turned it on, turned it off so quick. It was amazing. And of course,
Apple martini.
apple martini.
I remember for my audition, I had my grandparents take me, and we were sitting in the waiting room, and I was just like talking to them because they're my grandparents. You know, I love them. I want to talk to them. We got to go to LA together, and it was fun. And so, you know, and I always remember my grandma looking at me and going, "Shouldn't you be figuring all of this out?" And I go, "Oh, like, what do you mean?" She's like, "Look at your script or something." Like she was like embarrassed for me to be like talking to her in front of all you guys. I was just like, It was such a weird experience, but
Here's a little known fact. Steele was the first person to audition for the movie. The very first person.
Wow.
And he walked in and he auditioned for the movie. And I remember there were like 5 people in the room. It was me, Jason, Harris, 2 casting directors and assistants, so 6. And he left afterwards, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, he's the one. He's the one." I was like, "All right, hold on. It's first audition. All right, let's see some more Donny's. All right." But they were right. He was the one.
I didn't know that.
He was always the one.
Why, thank you.
The one and only.
Mhm.
All right, so I
Very
have a
first
question.
person to audition.
I have a question for the cast. When you go to audition for roles, do you go in character like some actors will do, or do you go in as you and then you on action you go into character?
If it's a comedy, I'll go in not in character because I want them to like me before I audition. But if it's like a drama, like I went in for the bully in the movie It, the Pennywise, whatever. And I went in full psycho mode for that one, and they did not appreciate it.
That's the hard thing is I never know like when it's the right call because I've walked into some casting rooms and they're like the nicest people, and I've also walked into casting rooms and just immediately like the energy is like, oh whoa, you know. So it's like I don't really know when, but I think I'm with Radic when like if it's a super like heavy drama or something, I'll walk in character because I don't know, it just feels right, but I don't know.
Yeah, but for me, it's all about the vibe of the room. I mean, I'd probably, for me, it really depends because it's all about how I read the casting directors. If they're a little bit laid back, if they're a little bit, if they're nicer, they're kind of more easygoing, a little bit lenient, then I'll go in as the character, address myself like the character. But there are some casting directors, boy, extremely strict. I mean, they give off a really like strict vibe. And I'm like, okay. All right.
I don't like those casting directors.
Yeah,
Like those, they
I would say
scare
in
me
my
sometimes. I
experience,
swear to God.
I think that like it's like you never know because I've had it both ways where people have walked into the room in character and they crushed, and it's like amazing. You just crushed. John DeLuca is one of them. He walked in as a Chippendale. It was unbelievable. But then I had people like walk in this character trying to be John DeLuca, and it was just pure cringe. So it all depends on like. To me, it's like it's always just like make the character your own, and I mean each of you guys to a certain degree, like walked in some form of a character,
Yeah,
Maybe,
I remember my first audition. It wasn't even there was. It's funny. It was funny because it was first in an apartment, like it was not an apartment. I mean, in a building. And then after that, I don't know. It was around at a studio. My second time when it was with all of you guys. The first one, I remember, I was getting ready in a building, and there was like a nice couch chair, and I'm reading this thing, right? And I remember in my first. Oh my God, Adrian. Your butt exposures. Okay. So what happened in my first audition, right? So what happened in the first audition was I used the chair as like the character to grind on, right?
Oh,
The chair
nice.
was the person I'm grinding on in my first audition. And you should see Doro's face. She was like, okay. She was really playing off of it, and that really made it easier to play the character because nobody expected me to use a chair as a person to grind on.
That's awesome. Honestly, that's such a bold move, and it worked.
So
you gotta be bold.
Nice. Oh, also, by the way, Adrian, it looks like Braddock agrees that partying in Europe is key.
Oh yeah, Malta, Ibiza, all those places go hard. Yeah, man. He knows what's up, then.
Wait,
I
those
mean-
dildo hats.
Oh
Johnny,
yeah, we gotta go in with those too.
We
I
need
have-
those too,
I have a box of like 50 dildo hats in my apartment.
dude.
Oh,
Okay?
you gotta ship them out. Ship them out to me.
Yeah.
Come
Now,
on.
I have like
Run
this
'em.
dildo hat campaign that I'm trying to run.
Yes.
And basically what I've done is I'll give you guys the inside deet right now. All right.
Okay.
What I've done is I filmed I filmed this very like high fashion video that's like something that like you'd expect Zara to shoot for like a clothing brand, but it's for the dildo hat, right? And it's all
Yes.
black and white
Yes,
except for the
bro.
purple
New
dildo hat.
clothing line.
And it's like super serious and super like, you know, intense. And it ends with dildohat.com. And yes, I own dildohat.com. And
No
yes,
way.
I'm trying to put together a whole dildo hat thing. You know, obviously completely unrelated to Donnie's party. I'm just an entrepreneur trying to make the
Yeah.
dildo hat the next it thing.
Bro,
Yeah.
next thing you know, we see it in a store, bro. Who knows?
We see it when we go clubbing in Malta. We'll see it
Mhm.
everywhere.
Exactly.
For real. It's
Mhm.
already gonna be a trend by then.
Yeah. I love this little joke too. Oh. Two in the pink, one in the stink.
Mm-hmm. And no, I don't know what I don't know what that means. Can you
So let me explain it to you.
please? Because this is news to me.
So Adam was just improvising this whole never have I ever thing.
Yes. Adam was a monster. The two monsters on set were John and Adam in terms of just like improv. And I say that because everybody had the opportunity to improv and everybody did improv and everybody nailed their character. Really, truly. Like I got so lucky with Doro casting and just like just truly the right people fell into every role. But the monsters on set were Adam and John in terms of improv. They took it
That's
to
true.
levels that I didn't know existed. And I mean, Radek spent a lot of time with John, so he can attest to that. I spent time with both, but they were both ridiculous. And Adam would just spit fire, just weird things and take things in directions that you wouldn't ever imagine. He was trying to create arcs to the character that didn't exist, but were amazing. Like he was trying to have his character running for school board president and trying to get people's votes. And he's like, hey, would you mind if you put something on your lawn, like starting to the wings? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
honestly,
he did such a great
amazing.
job.
It was absolutely amazing.
Great job, yeah.
Mr. Ranch Hands.
Mr. Ranch Hands.
Back at it again.
This was another thing. I feel like you guys didn't know how to slow dance. Like I had to teach you guys how to slow dance. You guys had no idea what a slow dance was. Not you and Jessica, but
Yeah.
Steele and Isabel.
Yeah, you're like, oh, the slow dance, and I was like, okay.
What the hell is a slow dance?
Which has paid off because I feel a lot more confident now that I can for a weird reason. Like I feel like
Ooh.
that opportunity will come up. I don't know when.
Just in case a date
Just in
leads
case.
into a slow dance experience.
Yeah,
You
I
have
mean,
that extra confidence.
I have a little bit of extra confidence, you know. So I
remember
You have a girlfriend,
Yo,
right, Steele?
I do not have a girlfriend.
Oh, never mind. That's awkward.
Yo, Steele, remember one of those takes where John had us pair together for a slow dance scene, and we just took it to like.
Yes, that's right. That was for the for our like group dance.
Yeah.
Group dance with the kids, and Adrian and I were like just slow dancing together, like super intimate.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was great. It was really good.
Yeah, there was so much fun stuff that we did. It was good stuff.
Oh my.
By the way, I think my single favorite, call it ad-libbed lines of the movie is right now when Trish asks, or Susie asks Bobby, she's like, did you use a condom? He's like, what? She's like, you told me you used a condom. And then he's like, I never said that. She's like, yeah, you did. He's like, me use a condom? What am I, 11? I didn't write that. That was amazing. It just came out. So good.
Oh
So
man, the
here's
song
the slow dance scene.
is "We Fucking Tonight" in the first scene that they were dancing in. It's all on loop. Is that a real song or is you guys made that?
No, I tried to find like the weirdest like pairing of songs to like put, and like it was "We Fucking Tonight" on the dance floor. Just like, yeah, that was a song that we found on like just like some random, call it like music library website. But it's so funny that like, I mean, I'm talking to a guy that's seen the film 7 times. All right,
Yeah.
we might as well like have like a screening and like have like little traditions that we all do, like together and
Like
chant
the
things.
room.
But
yeah.
that's like such a small little detail that's funny that you picked up on. Yeah,
Dude, I think there's so many Easter eggs that I keep finding. I'm having a good time.
It's funny. So this one scene, I probably had the most edits of this one scene. I had 10 different ways it would go, 10 different cues. There was one cue that instead of like it going, I forgot actually which one that I landed on. I have to like listen to it. I haven't watched this film through in a while, but we had one that it was like super like 80s porn. We had one that like it got really dark and I did like really tweaky editing. It was like her mouth on screen, like my dad, and like all this weird stuff going on. But ultimately, we landed on the right one.
Yeah, I think the dreamy one is when like the music dies down and like when I watch it with my friends, they're like, oh no, oh no.
It's funny. I actually have a quick beat story. So Pep that was in that got cremated, right? Which doesn't make so much sense in Judaism because you're not actually supposed to cremate. But anyways, who cares? But we had one of the scenes during the party scene. I had Tom just like we had the idea to have his ring pop and lick his ring pop and stick it in to there, and we put cinnamon in there as the ashes and lick it. And that's in the film. You'll see that. It's a quick little scene. He sticks his ring pop in and he licks it. And then I remember our bubbies that we had on set at the time, they were just like, I overheard them being like, that's too far. That's too far. That's too far. Like, bubbies, have you read the eating the butt scene?
Dude, wait, that's another story where I signed on to do the film. And the first day that me and like Johnny are actually like meeting and talking about the character and stuff, I go, so by the way, how are we gonna film that scene? And he goes like, I love how you say yes to the film before finding out how you're gonna eat ass on camera. And I'm glad we went with this.
Well, like I said, you crushed your audition, right?
Thank you.
You crushed it and you ate butt like a champ. So I knew that regardless of how we filmed, you'd be able to, perform.
I haven't gotten rid of the taste since then. I was gonna make another joke, but that's a little too far, I think, for Steele and Adrian, these kids.
I think something underrated that people like kind of like that kind of gloss over is the chemistry between you and Jessica. Because you guys had such good just like casual banter that was like friendly, but like, you know each other. I thought you guys did really well. It felt like there was like a level of comfort between you guys, which was really nice.
Like me, Johnny, and Jessica had such a good time. Like every time we were in a scene together, it was like in between takes, it was just really, really chill. Like I love those guys. Like me and Johnny still talk all the time, and me and Jessica still message each other. Like, yeah, they're good people.
What I love is like it seems like so many people from this project have stayed in touch and just like have like messaged. I know a lot of the adults. I know Steele and his mom still talk. But no, but seriously, it was like a really fun 17 days shoot. It was really great.
Man,
that's agreed. Everybody, even among us, I mean, you couldn't have picked a closer group of people. Honestly, immediately after the first day, I think every single one of us just instantly connected. It was just like this, and that's why. No, I kid you not. It was the green room was exactly always full of everybody. No one everybody was like having fun in the green room, and that's why when you see those dance scenes, like every it's so effortless. Like everybody had such good chemistry with each other because after the first day we just clicked. Everybody was just so close with each other.
Yeah.
Two things real quick. I completely agree. If you guys remember when I brought you guys all together, do you guys remember that I made you guys play all a board game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody that knows me, I'm like kind of like the biggest board game nerd in the entire world. I like host board game parties all the time. So I had everybody on set, all the cast, play one big board game that's just like a very casual, lighthearted board game that gets people to know each other.
I do remember that. Yeah.
What board game was it?
It's called Telestrations. It's kind of like a mix between Broken Telephone and Pictionary. But real quick, this scene right here, this scene with that scene that we just passed, I had the most fun editing that scene with Nick because we knew that we could just get so weird with the sound effects and stuff, and we decided that we were going to go the super dark route.
The yelling, the phone call that you're listening to, who was that?
We went super dark with it. And originally it was like this clip that we found on YouTube. Like it was like a domestic violence clip that we kind of chopped up. And then we had to recreate that clip because we didn't have it was not our audio to use. So when we were in what's called like loop group and loop session of having, people come in for all the walla and stuff, we had them act out this very, very disturbing scene. And it was very interesting, to say the least, to direct that from in the audio studio. It was it was rough goings. But it worked. It was fun.
Yeah.
That one also came out of left field for me, where I was like, oh, whoa, we're going there right now.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the whole film is when Adam doesn't actually bite the apple. That kills me every time with the audio.
Was it happening right here?
It just happened.
Oh yeah. Hey, just take the big, and I'm like, juice up the audio on that bite. We need to make sure that it's like it's a full crunch. Yeah, that was good stuff. This was just like every scene with Adam was just hilarious. There's so many additional lines that could have been used. It's amazing.
This is so mean.
What? Let's hear it.
Nobody likes a Bobby. He's like,
no, but wait, he said nobody likes a Gary.
Or Gary, sorry.
No, Gary.
And he's using the uneaten apple.
Yeah. Oh man.
I love that. Funny. I'm so something, but yet so full of life. I love that line.
It's funny because like I haven't legitimately watched the film down since probably it's been like 10 months. I've seen it, call it 1,000 times, editorial, trailer, there's indie filmmaking. So like I've been doing everything with, cut downs and this and that. But there's still things whenever I watch the film like that get me giggling. Which is like there's still things that literally get me giggling every time. This scene right here is basically everybody. This is a scene that most people can relate to. This is the crowd favorite.
I love this guy. I love whoever that older guy is. I never even saw him on set. I love him.
Which is so funny because it's like that's like another thing though in the screener. Like you weren't here for this scene, so you didn't even know anything about how this scene was going to pan out.
Yeah. I didn't know this. This sounds awful. I forgot his name, but Kapowitz. I never thought he had a single line. I'm like, wow, he is like really committing to like this. I didn't realize he had a whole scene here, but I saw him on set so much.
Yeah, I was with Doro. I'm like, yeah, we need to give a kid. We need to find a kid and give him a bowl cut.
Oh wow.
And that's gonna be the kid with the big dick. It
You know
was
I still have people asking me to reperm my hair.
as they should.
Yeah,
You should.
You
Yeah, a
should
lot of
100%
people-
reperm.
yeah. They're
Alright.
like, when's the perm coming back? I'm like, well,
You were a stud. All right.
Yeah. yeah.
Steele,
Oh my God.
next time you do a Twitch stream, you need to sport the curls.
Oh yeah, dude, that perm was a whole experience too. That my mom basically had a heart attack, and the hardest part is that smell. You know when like that smell when they perm your hair? Do you guys ever like it? Literally smells like rotten eggs, and you just sit in a chair with like rotten eggs around you for like.
I
for-
remember when I had to get frosted tips. I was still in Serbia. And then Johnny, he sent us a who was the what's it called, the example picture that you sent me. And so we went in Serbia. I got my frosted tips done, and then they wanted it shorter, and I went back again, and then it was the perfect one. So I come basically back to the States with frosted tips, and then everybody on the plane is like,
You were rocking it. They knew it was up. I feel like also like probably that Frosted Tips is probably still in Europe. Right?
probably.
Right. It never left.
I appreciated the frosted tips because when I had hair, I had
Appreciate it.
some mean frosted tips.
Hey, I mean, if it worked for me, I'm fine. Okay, if it worked for the role, that's all that mattered.
Hundo P. I've got you have that, Lauren, you have that one of the photos of the one that looks like the lion den of the bar mitzvah photo that I sent you?
Let me look. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So quick story. So here, that's my brother's bar mitzvah. So
Aw.
I was 11 years old at the time. Let me tell you a quick story about this bar mitzvah. It was a big bar mitzvah. A lot of people came. It was my parents. You know, Daniel's my older brother. He's the oldest child in the family. First bar mitzvah of the family. And when decorating the room, they accidentally put a curtain too close to one of the candles. The curtain lit on fire, and the entire bar mitzvah went up in flames. The entire bar mitzvah lit on fire, and everybody had to move from the room that was like beautifully decorated for the entire party to a completely empty ballroom at the hotel, just completely empty. And luckily we were able to save the like music equipment and like the stuff that you needed to actually still conduct a party. And they started getting the party back on the ropes and things started going. And then all of a sudden, boom, a man has a heart attack. Right?
Oh my god!
They call the ambulance, help the man out, get him out of there, try to get the party back on. Once again, we are in a completely empty room. Like there's no party should ever happen in this room. It's like big, it's empty, it's awkward. You hear an echo. And all I can say is I was only 11 years old, but that party was lit. All right. It turned up in the end, which just shows bar mitzvahs prevail. All right. The power, you don't ever doubt the power of a 90s bar mitzvah. All right. Or 80s for that sake.
Right. So, all right, I gotta ask about this picture right here. What's the story?
Those are the frosted tips.
This is, I wish that I could own this picture as much like as it is and say like, yeah, in high school or elementary school I was a punk. This was actually for Spirit Week. And it was like I was dressed as a punk for Spirit Week. I was the softest 11-year-old in the world. All right. there was not like an edgy or hard bone in my body. All right. That's just the real talk.
Oh, so nice. So we got a comment from Braddock that you don't see a lot of Jewish culture and rites of passage movies.
For sure. And that's like, honestly, that was the inspiration of this film. When I was in high school, I always thought like, I was always kind of waiting for a hilarious bar mitzvah film because I thought the premise of a bar mitzvah was just like too perfect for a comedy. And basically in high school, I wrote kind of like a short film that was centered around the MC of a bar mitzvah. And I never ended up shooting it, but it kind of like grew and festered. And after college, I kind of reapproached the film and started writing like all these wacky, goofy characters. And, you know, I knew that I wanted to approach it from, there's been bar mitzvah films. The Coen brothers made one. There's one that was like Keeping Up with the Steins at like for bubbies, but like never one that was like a rated R, hard hitting, just wacky comedy. And so I just started coming up with all these goofy characters that I've like met at bar mitzvahs and just like, you know, making caricatures of them. And slowly but surely I started piecing together this script. And at the time I was doing a lot of freelance film in New York. So it wasn't like my full-time job to write the script. And I just remember one day revisiting the script and it was like maybe 60 pages through and I was reading it and I was like, yo, this shit's hilarious. And I was laughing out loud while reading it. And I was like, I got to make this. And I came up with the idea to turn the entire thing into a mockumentary, basically mainly to cut down on costs because it was a much costlier film to begin with. And that was not only a good idea to cut down on cost, but it ended up being a good like storytelling mechanism that made the film much more unique. And it gave it kind of the, you know, edge and flair that it has today. But it took me, I would say, over a long time to write it. But like once I sat down, really, it took me like 2 months to like really sit down and write the film with like notes back and forth.
You definitely capture that vibe of watching playback of a, you know, of a 90s bar mitzvah. So yeah, hats off to you.
Thank you. Yeah, there was like a lot of like, I was kind of debating how to film it. I was like, do I make it more authentic to like what a bar mitzvah would feel like in terms of camera being a single camera? But then I went away from that. It's like, to me, at least so much of humor is like reaction-based humor. It's like joke setup and then seeing the reaction. And in order to get those authentic reactions, you're going to need the multicam, you know? So, by the way, right there, Steve, Creepy Steve was the name of his name in the script. The guy.
Oh yeah.
And he actually had a larger part in the whole film that ended up getting, you know, cut out for the sake of pacing. But that was probably that hurt me the most, cutting out Creepy Steve, because he had a much larger part of just like being like just that weird guy that creeps on people in the weirdest parts. Like he was supposed to be in the coat closet. He was supposed to be in the scene with Gerald, you know, clicking all the buttons, but we had to fortunately edited him out for pacing.
We need a Snyder cut.
We have to do bloopers. We have to release bloopers and deleted scenes for sure.
Somebody,
Man, I just wanna see
I
everything.
did a podcast like last week, and they were talking about the DCU, the Donny's cinematic universe.
Dude.
I'm feeling an animated series coming on.
We make the sequels. All right, where does Radic go after the bar mitzvah? Where does David go after the bar mitzvah? We don't know. All right, that's something maybe we should explore.
That is true. We have to explore. We have to explore some of these. Yeah.
Al asks a very poignant question. How did you craft the dick joke?
God.
The way that anybody crafts anything these days in Minecraft. How did I craft the dick joke? I don't know. I mean, like I'm an immature human being. I love dick jokes. I love fart jokes. I don't know. Like that's just it's hard for me to keep a straight face around that, and I guess I came up with what was natural to me. You know?
And you know what's interesting is there's really not there's no like Hebrew in here. It's really not about the bar mitzvah itself. We don't see the lighting of the candle, the breaking of the bread, the Hava Nagila. Was that on purpose?
100% on purpose. I very much tried to veer away from Judaism being a part of the bar mitzvah and just tried to make it about like the characters of the bar mitzvah. And it's funny, there's all these Jewish blogs that reviewed the film and picked up and were like, they had no big Jewish songs. I hate this film. Right? And it's like, and it's funny you say that because that's exactly, I wanted to completely separate the Jewish aspect from the party aspect. And it's like, this isn't about the Judaism. It's about, hey, it's a bar mitzvah kid coming of age. And it's about all the wacky characters. It's like, all right, if you want, blow a shofar, all right?
Right. We have a comment from a very special guest, somebody you might know, Joshua Kaufman.
Listen, I've never heard of that man in my life. All right, I wouldn't trust a word he says.
Joshua, feel free to follow up with any additional comments in loving honor of your brother, and I'll post them.
I love this. Is like the inspirational moment. It's classic. Man, seriously, his hair looks like a Ken doll.
Like a what?
A Ken doll. He looks like a Barbie man.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's just I honestly I feel so like happy that every actor was just so down for whatever. Like, you know, and especially like Trish, especially, you know, like she was subjected to a lot of things. Like she had to wear this baby thing, having, you know, Bobby touch her, but she was coming up with these ideas. You know, she was the one also coming up with it. Like everybody like wanted to add and contribute to the script, which was so fun, you know? That's what made it so fun. It's funny. A little side note for this scene was Steele, first of all, was asking, you know, how to act high. He's never been high before, and he still hasn't.
I'm definitely not right now.
Right? I remember. But I remember when I sent the script. It's just with comedy, it's so fun. Just like having, you never know who's gonna input a joke and get another laugh, and it's just about always getting as many laughs as you can and authentic laughs. And I remember that one. There's one joke here where, you know, Steele is smoking and they're talking, and then they forgot what they're talking about, and he just like repeats what he says, right? And I don't remember who said that. I sent the script out, and somebody made a note being like, you should have him repeat that. And I'm just like, that's genius. That's amazing. So especially with comedy more than anything else, it's always great to have like as many eyes on the project, because even if somebody has 90 bad ideas and one good idea, if you just take that one good idea, that's another laugh in the film, and that's great, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
Man, the one gag that I remember that I saw being filmed that didn't make it into the film was where they duck out of frame and like it's a different dancer, like a professional. I remember seeing that. And I was
Capoeira.
Was it the capoeira? Yeah.
Yeah, because he was actually supposed to be a capoeira dancer, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was actually supposed to be what you're supposed to see soon after we all come back. Man with the mustache, you already know, like he's pulling everybody. And then what happens is that I still remember Joshua is supposed to, you know, start with the capoeira, and then he ducks down and the big boy comes in doing some flips and stuff, and yeah, pretty much that's what's supposed to happen. It was great. I mean,
basically a lot of the stuff that was cut out. Well, first of all, before I get into that, I try to find the raunchiest song that we can play from the scene. Like literally
Licking on my balls.
Like, absurd, like the most absurd juxtaposition. But a lot of the stuff that was cut out that like you remember, it's not because it wasn't funny. It was all because of pacing. Like it was just like we wanted the film to move. And like sometimes like, yeah, you got in a couple more laughs, but like at what cost?
Yeah.
At what cost?
The movie doesn't stop. That's the thing. It's like you can't breathe. I when I watch this, like there's no part where I'm like, okay, like here, let me take a little break. Like from the ridiculousness of it.
The DVD version is actually going to be coming with oxygen tanks, so you.
Oh,
can, yeah.
great.
All right, that's good. That's good.
Mhm. Here's my homage to Airplane right here.
Oh man.
It's an entirely different kind of movie altogether.
Yeah. The water broke line. That's.
Yo. And then
The on my glasses line.
And like here's like another thing that I wanted to do was like interrupting photo montage, just like randomly interrupting. Like we had it happen 2 other times, but that was the quickest. Closet Guy. Fun story about Closet Guy. So once again, indie filmmaking, we need to cut down costs wherever we can. And the producer I'm working with is like, hey, yo, Closet Guy, like, do we need him? Like, can we just get rid of him? Like, we need to cut down in extras. He's a speaking role. Can he not speak? And, you know, producers always trying to save money. And I'm just like so firm being like, we need Closet Guy. He is a 10. And I'm so happy that I stuck with my guns. Because there's a lot of things I didn't stick with my guns. It's, you know, some of them maybe I regret, maybe not, who knows. But like, that's like something I was so adamant about. And I'm happy I was, because that's like that was like one of the big moments that like a lot of moments everybody can find and, you know, pick out what they really love about the film. But that was a moment that everybody truly loved about the film.
I saw all the meme pages are posting memes about Donnie's bar mitzvah, and it's so good, man. Like these huge meme pages, and I was so excited.
Yeah, that was fun. That was definitely the show us your dick scene got some meme love.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the awards are butt plugs. Was that on purpose?
No, that was complete coincidence. That was complete coincidence. No chance was that on purpose.
You wouldn't make a joke like that. Yes, mommy.
Yeah, fun fact about right there. All right, as they know, that is Nicole Doro. That is
I didn't know that.
yeah, that's Nicole Doro. That's our casting director. And that's our casting director and her daughter.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
And I looked at her, I'm like, you want to do this? Like, is this going to scar? And by the way, I don't know if you were on set, but like the way that she was saying mommy was so like, it was like, so real. And Joshua, my brother, was actually on set that day. And he looked at me, he's like, you need to get an alt take just in case, because that's like really dark, right? So we did get an alt take that like it wasn't mommy, it was something else. But of course, we ended up going with the dark stuff because I'm a sick guy.
I'm a sick guy.
No, who was it when we were all talking on Clubhouse? Who was it that was like, when we saw that it was Trisha. Trisha was not a fan of that one either. That joke.
That's right. Yeah.
Trisha hated that. Mm-hmm. Somebody unbelievable was Waldo. He was a hidden gem. There were so many lines that we didn't put into the film, once again, pacing. But he was another guy that was so good at improv, just coming up with lines like crazy. And this little bit that he goes on at that moment about like him being at the party and like he went on a whole monologue that was hilarious, but we ultimately had to trim it because of timing, but he was great. And right here, the text on video, this is something that
oh my God, that is such a throwback to pop-up videos. Oh my God, I was rolling at that when this came up.
This is my reel.
This is what Radic has put in his reel. This is what you'll find.
Have your parents seen your reel with this scene in it, Radek?
Oh no, it's so funny. My dad actually told me not to do this film. My dad's like, wait, you have to do what? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm an actor. Like, it's just a job. Like, you know. And he's like, Radek,
HBO.
yeah, he's like, Radek, please don't do this. And so, yeah, no, my parents haven't seen this film, but my brothers love it.
And Adrian, for your family in overseas in like Serbia, what do they think of this movie?
Oh my God. It was amazing. None of my parents are Jewish. I haven't attended a bar mitzvah at all, but nevertheless, I mean, all of us loved it. I mean, my godmother also, I mean, she's the one who supplied us with the account to watch it. And can I tell you, every single person could not stop laughing. And just like the thing that Radek said, you do not have time to stop laughing. Like, it's that good. Like, they keep on saying they could not stop laughing, and they kept on watching it. And what they said is they want to see this movie on a plane so they can watch it on a plane, you know, on those in-flight entertainment system. And then they said the only thing that would be wrong is that you wouldn't be able to let other people sleep by how hysterical it is.
I mean, putting this movie on a plane is a quick way for an airline to get sued.
Yeah.
But even though I think there was one parent, I mean, not all my parents, like some of my parents. Well, I'll tell you this: when I actually saw this role, and my coach, and they're like, "Oh, Adrian, I don't know about this one," and we called that one person like, "Oh, hey, guess what audition I had?" And that same parent was like, some of these scenes, she was like a little bit weirded out. I mean, she did not expect this out of a bar mitzvah film at all.
Adrian, sorry to interrupt. I just want to make a comment on this scene real quick. So the reason why I chose Come On Eileen
that was amazing.
Come On Eileen is not really a bar mitzvah thing, but it is a bar mitzvah thing from my hometown. It has become this infamous tradition that Come On Eileen plays, and literally everybody from the party comes to the dance floor and does more or less the dance that everybody did with, you know, the scooting, the butt scooching. And so it was fun to bring that element to, because nobody knows this. I mean, they might have wacky little traditions in other places, but like, it was fun to bring that element from my hometown. It happened at every bar mitzvah that I ever went to this film. And
that was really fun to shoot. Yeah, I'm really happy we did that. That was amazing. I mean, every single person of the shoot was there doing it. I mean, every single person, everyone in the cast,
even
like every
Danny
single
Trejo.
person. Yes, I'm telling you, every single person had fun doing it.
That was great. Like I said, there's still little moments of the film that make me laugh.
Man, I remember this kid being on set, and I'm like, oh, like, what's he doing? He's like, oh, he's just like, he's the gag. And I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Gary.
I remember Gary being like, I don't want to be in this scene without something in my hands. And so he just ran over.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, he started the scene. He's like, I feel like I should be carrying things.
Yeah.
All the wax hands that I've made throughout the evening. So he gathered as many wax hands as he could. And he's like, I want to be carrying the wax hands, all the wax hands I made. And then he fell on purpose, which was amazing.
Dude, okay.
This right here was Steele's big moment.
Steele's watching.
Steele, what was it that I kept saying to you about Isabel?
I don't know. I really wish I could remember it.
You're right. I kept saying one thing to you throughout the entire time.
I don't remember though.
I think I really like you when you're drunk and high. Like, yeah. All right.
Great message towards kids.
Exactly.
If I have one advice, it's to that message. This was a great scene to film. This was amazing. Me and Steele, I remember us testing this outside with water, because I was like, I told the prop master, being like, I want a gratuitous amount of throw up. I want like more throw up than a human can possibly project. And then he's like, I got just the thing. Right? He like knew immediately. And the next day he brings it to set, and like we're practicing, and we made this concoction that was like oatmeal, orange juice, ranch, who knows what was in it. And yeah. And props to like Isabel also, because we had to do 3 takes of this. So every take she had to get fully wiped down, new clothing, and like it went down her clothes. It was all over the place.
Yeah.
Mazel tov.
But I will tell you this, Steele was looking to score that kiss the entire time.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah, no, Isabel was a trooper for that though. That was rough. Yeah. The girl in Dead Mom is the best gag.
Oh my God.
That's too much, Al. TMI.
What?
The girl and the dead mom. Best gag.
Yeah.
Didn't Johnny break a bunch of his shirts because he was so jacked? And am I remember that wrong? Like he broke 1 or 2, I think.
Maybe. I hope that's like an infamous story of set.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I remember him like he did a thing and it just ripped in the back. And so he had to go get one that wasn't actually like his like costume. It was like a backup one. He's a good looking guy.
All right, and Jonathan, this had me dying. This last scene right here, and into the credits.
So like once again, like I'm so happy. Like just to filmmakers in general, it's like you got to stick to your guns if there's things that you want. And I knew I wanted this song, and people tried to talk me out of it, being like, "Oh, White Chicks did it," or that it was an expensive song, because it was. But I was like, I need this guy playing the piano and doing this song. And it was just something I had in my head, and it turned out amazing. It was absolutely. What we didn't know was that the actor that played Steve is actually a singer. And when we asked him to sing, he's like, "Oh yeah, I actually sing." He's like, "Do you want me to do my normal voice or my falsetto voice?" And I was like, let's hear both. And we ended up going with like, kind of like we cut it a little bit of a mix of both, but it was amazing. It was better than what we could have imagined. Yeah.
Every time he's in front of a random video. This is the perfect midnight showing at like the Vista out here in LA, just like a small independent theater. I can't wait until the day we can watch this with an audience.
So that gag, I was like very adamant about that gag going through the entire film. Was every time there was something tossed off screen, you'd hear "Ow my glasses," and then we reveal who "Ow my glasses" was. And I remember actually when we filmed that, and we did like 3 takes of it, like hitting that kid. And we literally just got that one actor just for throwing a bottle at his head, which I feel bad, but like, I guess you got to do what you got to do sometimes in acting. And he got one bottle thrown at his head, and it didn't break, and it hurt him. And I felt terrible. I felt so bad. Here's Radek's big culmination, It was fun coming up with these ideas of what the backgrounds were going to be for the piano.
I love
the editor had like this whole bigger picture of the culmination, that it starts off here and then it ends off with like the Big Bang. I love this part. 1-800, you know the rest.
Did for any of the actors, did you do any prep work as far as researching bar mitzvahs, watching any movies about Judaism or bar mitzvahs or anything like that?
I did nothing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Pretty much the only thing that happened was my mom was like, "Have you ever been to a bar mitzvah?" And I was like, "No," and she was like, "Oh, well, this will be fun."
But I trust.
I did something. I remember they told me like, well, Coach. Well, a person I was talking to regarding this film, they were actually Jewish, and they told me what bar mitzvahs were like. And when she looked at this script, she's like, "Oh wow."
Which, by the way, once again, I prefer that you guys didn't necessarily do research about a bar mitzvah, because it was less about the actual bar mitzvah and more about the characters. It was like very much, this was a very dialogue driven script. It was just characters interacting with each other. And I chose each one of you because you guys were the perfect fit for the character. And the best moment of the film, right here.
I need to pause this. That is her.
I can't believe that's your casting director and her daughter.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't even understand how many people. So this film plays a lot worse with women than it does men, which I completely understand. But so many people after screeners would write, "Get rid of the last scene. The last scene is absolutely disgusting," and like it was all women, which I completely understand. It hits a soft spot, especially for the older mother audience. But that was a scene that I refused to get rid of. Refused. All right, that was something that was written in the script and was staying.
Well, if you get this on board an airplane, they will make you take that scene out.
I don't think they can play any of the movie on an airplane.
It's like a 20-second movie. It's just like,
it might. Maybe we can get it onto Spirit Airlines where they don't have TVs, and it'll just live as a podcast.
Wow. Well, congrats to all of you. Round of applause.
Good stuff, you guys. Good stuff.
Thank you for everyone who stuck around to watch on a Friday night. It's like watching MST3K, if anybody remembers those old kind of things. But what a great chance to hear insight into the movie, to find out that Radek refuses to show this to his family, or that it was his casting director in the scene. For Steele to, I guess he was just looking forward to the kiss the whole movie.
Whole movie. You have no idea how many times he pulled me aside. He's like, "I just can't wait." It's like, still, you gotta act professional, all right? You gotta be a professional actor.
Mazel tov indeed, man.
Mazel tov indeed. So let's go around the room.
You done good, Mr. Kaufman. You done good.
Let's go around the room and see what everyone has got coming up as far as projects. Adrian, let's start with you.
In terms of like the entertainment projects, I've got nothing, man. It's been
Same.
slow for me.
yeah, same here.
It's been slow for me. I have really nothing. I gotta keep auditioning, can't give up.
Yeah, it's really weird right now with COVID. It's just auditions. It's so funny. I'll have like 10 auditions in a week and then nothing for like 2 months.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
It's
COVID is
crazy.
bad to all of us.
And what an adjustment for you guys to have to self-tape all the time, where we used to be able to go in somewhere and audition and not have to worry about that.
Exactly.
Man, I had my first in-person audition last week and I was so nervous. Yeah, it was crazy.
There's definitely advantages to the self-tape, is where like it's not like pressure. Like if I mess up, I'm like, all right, well then I'll just get
No,
recorded.
that's so funny. I am the opposite, dude. Because like you can do it better every time. So you start doing it over and over. Do you not do that? I get in my head.
I have either, like, my brothers or like someone else just be like straight up honest with me. Like they'll either be like, "Oh, that was trash," or like, "Yeah, that was good. Like keep that one," And usually I'll try to find it, but
yeah,
I try to just like, because once I start doing it over and over and over again, it just goes downhill. It just
I can't stop.
For me, self-tapes weren't really a problem. I mean, I had the ability to have the control of what I wish to do. For me, self-tapes go better than actually going in an audition room, because if you think about it, you have more of a control of how you do the audition. Because if it's for me, that goes back to like the leniency of each and every casting director. Like some casting directors, like they just race through every scene. and you don't have the time to do the moments that you really wanted to prepare for, right? But here in self-tapes, you really have the time to showcase your choices and your boldness that you wanted to bring to the script. You have complete control.
Yeah, but there's something so exciting about being there in person, where it's like
That's
here's the
true
live,
as well.
I would say
here's the live
beyond
performance.
exciting, like from, let's call it the other side of the equation. Because obviously I've been dealing with self-tapes as well now, but it's so much better in person, because the best thing that a director wants is the ability for an actor to take direction. And
true.
what I've done, as you guys know, is I always throw you guys curveballs. I always ask you guys to do, and anybody that I've ever casted, I always will ask them to do something weird. I'll ask them to do something wild. I'll ask somebody to do something off script, just to see how they do it and how they take direction. Because I've dealt with a lot of people that are like, no, or just don't do that well. Because the whole thing is, when a true actor and somebody that's really good at their job is somebody that is able to take direction well and adapt well to anything that is thrown at them. So you don't get that versatility just through a self-tape. And sometimes it's a lot more nerve-wracking, like it's just as nerve-wracking for you guys to be maybe in person. It's a lot more nerve-wracking for us to commit to somebody just via self-tape, because you don't get that additional, depth and that additional back and forth, which is definitely something I very much miss. And there's also there's nothing like, it's the difference of filming a sketch and performing live, which is a whole different ballgame,
Yeah, I mean, it's good that we now have like two stories and two basically sides of, because I had no idea how you guys felt as directors, like listening to our self-tapes, like looking at that. And it's interesting to see how you guys feel.
It's kind of like Tinder. You just
That's awful. That makes me feel so shitty.
Oh my god!
I'm like, how many times I get swiped left all the time on Tinder anyway?
You just gave actors access, a great idea for an app for CDs.
Oh, I hope not. No, I'm joking. I thoroughly watch every single audition that comes my way.
I was glad. I don't know if you did. You probably did do this on purpose, but you asked me to improvise in the room, and thank God that anyone that worked with Johnny DeLuca has to know how to keep up with Johnny DeLuca, because I had to keep up every time he would improvise something. I'm like, oh shit, I got to keep this thing going that he just created out of nowhere, and it was nerve-wracking to just be next to someone who's like improving all the time.
Radic, at no point did I feel like, whoa, Radic is not performing well with Johnny. I felt like you were like straight up at his speed. Like I felt like you guys were dishing off of each other 100%. Like that whole scene with the 7'5" guy, like I felt you guys were like that was like a collective effort. Like he set it up and then you added to it. Like it wasn't like a one-man show by any means. I just want to throw that.
Thank you.
You throw a lot of praise towards Johnny, as he should, because he was hilarious. But you did a phenomenal job as well, like truly. And
it was groundlings, man.
I auditioned a ton of people for David, and David was actually one of the most complicated roles for me to fill, because he was this homosexual character that I didn't want to be like a stereotypical homosexual character, that I wanted to, like, who would be realistically friends with Johnny, you know? And there were a lot of people that auditioned for it, and they gave their take, and I never believably saw that relationship. And then you came and you had your own take on it, and I was like, okay, I actually see this friendship, and it played out very well on screen.
And the reason I agreed to do this, I go out for a lot of gay roles, and I hate that they're all so one-dimensional. It's like, he's just gay. That's it. He is the gay character. But this was like, oh no, he's having trouble with his friend. He hasn't come out of the closet to his friend. He's into his friend's dad. Like, I was, okay, so this actually is more deep than just surface level. He's a homosexual.
It's a very deep film.
It's so deep. It's so deep.
Very deep.
But I was excited that it wasn't just his personality trait. I'm like, he's a normal guy. He's a normal guy.
Right.
That's also the beauty of you as actors, is you get to decide what traits and what feelings and thoughts you're going to bring to the character.
Facts.
Yeah. And that was one of those things where like, I know I'm like reading into it way too much, but it was like, okay, thank God it's like a different kind of like character that I don't get to play normally. He just happens to be a homosexual, and you're just seeing like him coming out to his friend. It's just
that's kind of
nice.
how I played it. It's like it's like the gay aspect doesn't just define who he is.
Exactly.
You know, it's just like he is who he is, and he happens to be gay. Like exactly. That's exactly it.
Right.
You don't get that nowadays, man. The auditions that some of the scripts I read, I'm like, you guys don't realize how actually messed up is what you're writing. It's just so, it's like, okay, this is so.
Wait a second. You're reading other scripts that weren't Donnie's Party, and you're saying that those scripts are messed up?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I feel like this was respectful. This was done tastefully. This was done tastefully. The other ones are
tastefully messed up.
Yes, exactly.
We're live. We can't go back to one with this.
I'm committing.
You are.
I'm doubling down.
Steele, where can we find you and your sweet gaming chair? Any projects coming up? Anything you shot pre-COVID that's coming up?
No, nothing at all. Just same as these guys, just auditioning and keep my head up. So
all right. And Jonathan, what are you working on? We know we want t-shirts. We know we want you to create some IP out of the things in the film. So what else you got coming up?
All right. Well, after this, it's solidified. Donnie's Party merch is coming.
Yes.
We love to hear
I love DP shirts. I got a box of 50 dildo hats. All right, it's coming.
Yes, sir.
We'll make that in the works. Other than that, like I said earlier, my goal right now is really to fill the void of comedy that has been missing since I think for the last almost decade. There's been a serious lack in comedy, and like horrors can be made for very, very low budget because it's a lot of suspense and long takes, and you can create that with the ambiance and the music, and they can be made for very low budget. Comedies can be made for very low budget too because it's about characters, it's about dialogue. Yes, you can add a lot of flashy scenes, but my whole thing is I think that there's a lot of opportunity with low budget comedies. So I've got a lot of projects in the works. I have a project that is going to be filmed next year, 2022 summer, that I'm really excited about. It's a high school film. And Steele, I'm looking at you. Adrian, I'm looking at you. Radic, I'm looking at you. Everybody. And there's a lot of great things that I'm working on, and I'm really excited. But the key is just hammering in the comedy. Everything I do is I want it to be hard hitting comedy. It might not be as weird and as crazy as Donnie's Party. It might be a little bit more, I don't want to call it more mainstream, but everything I do, I want it to be not inside laughs, but audible outside laughs, because
you want it to be unique, and I appreciate that. Yeah.
So what it sounds like is you want to make a film that Radek's parents can watch.
No. Let's take that back. Radek's parents will never, ever be able to watch a film. According to Radek's parents, he will forever be a failure. Right? As long as he continues being cast in my films, he will forever be a failure in his parents' eyes because they will never see a film that he's made.
Please, no one tell my mom. Please, anyone that's listening or watching this.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on a Friday night from all of us at Film Threats Watch Party. Thank you. Next week, we've got Clapboard Jungle coming up, which is going to be cool. We have a watch party for Call Me Brother. Hawk and Rev in May. So we've got a lot of great projects coming up. Once again, thank you to all of you for joining us. Have a great night. If you guys want to stick around, we're going to end the broadcast and then we're going to get in and talk to about some real stuff once the recording ends. So thank you, everybody.
Have a good one. Thanks for coming.